No.
The inside.
For clothes that Tristan loves. At Bold 3 Detergent Plus Fabric Softener. Spray. Relief.
Hello there, it is me, Tarman, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into the Horus Heresy again. So you're probably wondering what figure is inside this box, and it is, lo and behold, Sigismund, the first chapter master of the Black Templars. But this is the Heresy version, so he isn't that quite yet. This figure is a buddy of mine's, and he wanted me to paint it up for him. So I went ahead and sprayed him with this red primer. Big fan of it, and I think it's going to look really nice for what I want to do. I am going to spray him yellow, but I'm going to do it with the airbrush, but you probably won't see that for a minute. First thing I'm really going to dive into is the base, but this is him so far, and I'm really excited to paint up this base, this destroyed tank. I think his model is just really cool. It is a bit dirty right now just because it's been sitting on my shelf for a bit. But without further ado, let's dive into this guy. Okay, so Sigismund is now sprayed yellow. He's drying right now. We'll get to him later, but not really that exciting as of right now. The first thing we're going to be really doing is painting this. The idea is I'm going to have this be a destroyed Iron Warriors tank with some Iron Warriors armor bits here. So the first thing we're really going to be doing here is making it look like Iron Warriors. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to be using this to paint most of it, really just the big armor panels around here, and then hitting the power pack and the helmet as well. And then we'll go in with other colors to help bring it out. But this is going to be a simple base because it is a tank and it's going to be Iron Warriors, so pretty straightforward. So the first thing we're going to be doing is painting it with this. Alrighty, so now we got the first color on it, which is the Iron Warriors. The next thing we do, we're going to really just pick out all the little silvery bits first before we hop into some other stuff. So the next color we're going to be using is this. And I'm really just going to be hitting a part of the last cannon with it, and then probably the road wheels and just some other little details with it. And then probably hit the track a bit too with it, just to show the track's been just worn and used. So let's do that. Alrighty, so now it's starting to come along. Yeah, so now we're just going to hit it one more time with one more really bright silvery metal bit. And it's just going to be this. And it's really just going to be kind of like a dry brush. I want it to look like scratches or whatever to it. So let's do that. Alrighty, so now it's starting to come together. Now the next thing we're doing, we're going to pick out some black bits, which will really just be lasgun and probably like an armor panel just right here. And the black I'm going to be using will be this. This is a very cheap black, but it works really well and it dries super duper matte, which is kind of what I want. So yeah, let's do that real quick. Alrighty, so now that that is picked out and nice and black, just in some areas, really just there in the last cannon. We're gonna pick out the last cannon just a little bit, like right there, and pick out some wiring too. So for some parts of the last cannon, we're gonna be using this, and then we're gonna pick out the wiring with this, and then I'm gonna highlight the wiring with this. So let's do it. Alrighty, there we are. Now the next thing we're doing, we're going to put a wash over the tracks and on some areas of the armor. The wash that I'm going to be putting over the tracks will be this, which is really made for like making rust streaks and stuff, but I kind of use it as a wash too. But I'm going to put this over the tracks because I want the tracks to just look kind of worn down and stuff. And then we'll just add this in little areas on the tank as well. So let's do it. And there we are. That's just a clear coat I put over those decals, but that is it for right now. Now the next thing to do, we're actually just going to go ahead and base it because I want it to get dirty. So I'm just going to take some glue and scatter it all over and then dip it in some red dirt. So next time you see it, it will have all that red dirt on it. And there we are. That is pretty much it for this. So while this is drying, we are finally going to go paint Sigismund, which he is right here. And that is the effect I was looking for. So the first thing we're actually going to do, we're going to pick out all of the black bits first on him. And the black we're going to be using is this. And there we are. Now all of the black bits are picked out. The next thing we're doing, we're going to pick out his cloak. And we're just going to gradually work up to the cream that it will be. For the base, we are going to be using this. And then to highlight it, we are going to use this. So let's do it. Alrighty, so now we got that cloak picked out. Now we're going to move back to the black and pick out the cross and the banner and a little bit of the trim on the border. So let's move back to this black. There we are. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to pick out the red on that trim, and the red we're going to be using is this. And use this red over the handle, which you'll see here, just like that. Also use this brown. I'm going to paint over these patches, not patches, pouches. Alrighty, so that is it so far. I think he's coming together very nicely. So the next thing to do is that I'm going to give that blade a blue tint, and I'm going to be painting the face. The blue I'm going to be using is this. And for the face, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'm going to use this as the base and this as the highlight, and then obviously I'm going to use a white and black for the eyes. Like this is the white, and just any black. So yeah, let's do it. Alrighty, so now that that is done, the next thing to do is to clear coat him. Then we can move on to the metallic bits. So I'm going to glue him to the base and spray him with a matte clear coat. So let's do it. Okay, now he is pretty much almost done. Came together really nicely so far. Now really the last two things to do is to pick out the gold on his sword and just a little silver on some of his bits that we're going to do. And the gold that we're going to be using will be this, even though it's bronze actually. And for the silvery bits, we're going to use two colors. This for the base, and highlight it with this. So let's do it. Okay, fellows, we're really close to being finished here, but we got to do one more thing to the gold and silvery bits. We just need to add a wash, and the wash we're going to be using is this. Alrighty guys, that is pretty much it for this paint job. Had a lot of fun painting this figure. I think he turned out really nice. Big fan of Sigismund and just of the Imperial Fist and 30k. I think they're just a really cool chapter. I'm just a big fan of 30k in general, but I hope my friend enjoys this figure, and I hope he has a lot of fun playing with it in a lot of wars to come. I definitely had fun painting it, but without further ado, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys would like to see me do or make something else, please let me know down below. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and on to the montage.